Right, your subject is in fundamentals of management and entrepreneurship. Okay. Right. First of all, you must know what is meant by management. We have discussed this in semester one also. Uh, so when you do something, right, when you do something, there are two ways you can do it. What are those two ways? You can just do it. Just do it. Okay. Or you can manage it. So just do it means without managing, you just do it then and there. අපි කියන්නේ එන විදියට නේද? ගහ ඔලුව අස්සා කිය. So that is one way. But if you manage it, there's a better chance of success, high quality, productivity. When you just do it, maybe you're success, maybe it's a failure. So therefore, it's always better to manage it. Manage things rather than not manage things, or rather than just doing for the sake of doing. Okay. So therefore, this is super critical subject. This is a super critical subject for your career, your life, okay, your studies and everything. So then what is mean by management? Or what is mean by manage things? What is mean by manage things? Because that is the first thing you want to understand when you study management. Okay. So what is the singular word for management? Kala mana කරණය. ඔය කල කෑල්ල බොරුවට දාලා තියෙන්නේ. අපේ මිනිස්සු හරි ආසයිනේ බොරු මගුල් දාන්න අටවන්න. මනා ලෙස කිරීම. මනාකරණය. So what is management? Doing things in a systematic way. If you do things in a systematic way rather than just doing it, so that is called management. So then you must ask, what is that systematic way? Okay. What is the systematic way if I want to manage things? So that systematic way is plan, organize, lead, control. A systematic way is what? Plan, organize, lead, control. So if you plan out things, organize resources, take leadership, and control things, not control others, control things. So you manage it. You manage it. So what you plan, organize, lead, and control? Your resources. Your resources. So the result is there's a higher chance of you achieve your goals. Higher chance of you meet your goals. You are successful, not failure. And you are effective, efficient. That means you are productive. And also high quality. So that is the result of managing things. Right? For example, now you guys are in final year. I know that your results are not released, right? So I hope you guys manage your semester 4 and 5. So therefore, you have achieved your goals. And you're confident that you have achieved your goals. So therefore, you are confident that you will be eligible for the final year. Of course, I don't know whether there are students who has done last year and again doing this year, but others, right? So if you have managed it, yes, you are going to achieve your goal. There's a higher chance. And this year also, if you manage your semester 5 and 6, there's a higher chance at the end of this year, level 3, you get your BIT degree program. Not only you get your BIT degree program, you are highly competent, you can go and work anywhere in the world. So that is if you properly manage your studies. Okay. So that is called management. So what is the other way? Just doing it. අපි කියන්නේ ගොඩ දා ගන්නවා කියන්නේ. semester 1 එකේ semester 1 ගොඩ දාගත්තා. semester 2 එහෙම අහනවා නේද? Facebook එකේ group වලට ගියාම මට පේන කාලකන්ණි 70 කියන දේවල්. විභාගයට සතියකට කලින් කියන මේ විභාගය ගොඩ දාගන්නේ කොහොමද? මේ මොනවාද pass papers කරනවා මොනවාද question එන්නේ? හරි. So they are not managing, right? ඒගොල්ලෝ ජීවිතේ ගොඩ දාන කට්ටිය. ගේමක් ගහන කට්ටිය. නේ. But those who manage, they have clear objectives, right? So they plan, organize, lead, control, so that they have better productivity, higher quality, and higher chance of achieving their objectives. So that is called management, right? Management. So therefore, management is not only for managers. Management is for everyone. First of all, manage your life. Manage your life. Then manage your studies. Then as a professional, manage your work. Manage your career. So if you are working somewhere, then involve managing that also. Manage your project. If you are a senior manager, manage your organizational unit. If you are a businessman, manage your business. So your second part is entrepreneurship. Okay. So therefore, management is not only for business. Management is for day-to-day life. Your life. Okay. Your life. First, apply it to your life. Then apply it to your career, job, business, and everywhere. Then apply it to everywhere. Okay. Apply it to everywhere. Say you are doing some agricultural work, manage it. Plan out what you are going to cultivate. Plan out what are your resources. Control things, take leadership, take calculated risks. So that is what management is. Okay, right. So I hope you have very good understanding about what is management is. Okay. So what are the features of management? So remember, you manage tasks, not people. There's a big misunderstanding. Some people really misunderstand these two words: manage, administrate. So these are two different words. So in Sinhala, this is කළමනාකරණය. කලේ ගලන්න මනා ලෙස කිරීම. මනාකරණය. මේ මොකක්ද? Administration. Can someone tell me what is administration in Sinhala? පරිපාලනය.
පරිපාලනය.
Yes, පරිපාලනය. So that is different. That is different. පරිපාලනය කියන්නේ වෙන දෙයක්. පරිපාලනය කියන්නේ අනිත් ඒවා තමයි. ඉතින් රාජ්‍ය පරිපාලන අමාත්‍යාංශ කියන එකක් තියෙනවා. පරිපාලන. මිනිසුන්ව පරිපාලනය කරනවා. උපැන්න සාතික දෙනවා. පාස්පෝර්ට් එක හදලා දෙනවා. So this is administration. Administration has nothing to do with the management, right? So therefore, don't think that manager's task or managing is control others. No, manage your tasks. Manage your organization. Manage your career, right? So therefore, it's not you control others, it's control the process, right? It's not control. Control is just part of that, right? Remember, plan, organize, lead, control. Control is just tiny part of management. Before control, you have the plan, organize, lead. Okay, and also management is not one person's task. So it's not manager's task. Management is entire team's task. If you are in a project, every person's task. Management is everyone's responsibility. If you are a family, management is every family member's responsibility. If you are in organization, management is everyone in that organization's responsibility at different levels, at different extent. Okay, everyone has a role to play. So don't think that management is not my task. Okay, right. So what can we manage? I already mentioned you, right? You can manage almost anything, right? You can manage a business, you can manage an organization, you can manage a project, you can manage your tasks, right? For example, you can manage your final year project. You can manage your final year, right? And of course, you can manage your own life. Your entire life you can manage. Or you can just let it go like, right? And you just respond to that. So the result is, whether in personal context or business context or professional context, if you manage things, there's a better chance of achieving the objective. So better chance of seeing success in your life rather than failures. So I don't think that anyone wants to see failures. I don't know. I don't want to see failures. Of course, failures are part of success, but I don't want to make seeing failures as a habit. Right? Some people get used to failures. So for them, failures are normal thing. Failures are normal thing. For me, failure is abnormal thing. Something I hate. But at the same time, once in a while I get failures. Yeah, that is fine. But I don't like it. Right? So therefore, you will see more and more success if you manage, do more and more management. And also your productivity will be high. Productivity high means with less effort, you achieve more. Right? Less effort, you achieve more. So then that is where you get a lot of leisure time, right? Free time. Because some people are so busy because they are not productive. So they don't have time. And also when you manage things, you get better quality results. Better quality results. And also it's less stress because you manage things. මනාලෙස කරනකොට stress වෙන්න බෑ. So you know the deadlines, you know you have a plan, you are working according to the plan, you take the leadership when things are not going well, proactively. You don't wait until the last moment and panic. You take control actions. So then you are not stressed. You are stressed when you don't manage. Okay. So that is the result of managing everything. Right. So remember, one of the advantage of management is productivity, high productivity. So what is meant by high productivity? ඵලදායීතාවය කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? So we say that someone is productive, something is productive, some organization is productive, right? A process is productive if it is effective and efficient. If it is effective and efficient, then we say it's productive. So then what is mean by effective? Effective means you are doing the right thing. Simple as that. You are doing the right thing. So if you do the right thing, you are going to get the right results. Success. Some people, they don't do the right thing. So if you don't do the right thing, you don't get the right results. Obviously. There's no doubt about it, right? So therefore, what you want to check is, am I doing the right things? If you do the right things, obviously you are going to get the right results. Success. And the second thing is, am I doing these right things in the right way? Doing the things right. If you are doing it in the right way, that the right things doing in the right way, then you, with less effort, you get the results. Less effort. That is why, that is where we say you are efficient. So if you are effective and efficient, you are productive. So one of the objective of management is make you productive, make your organization productive, right? Make your team productive. So when, for example, you know that someone who is doing an odd job in Sri Lanka, how much can they earn? How much can they earn? But if someone do the same job going to Dubai, Singapore, South Korea, or if possible, go to USA, Australia. So they do the same job or they do lesser work and earn sometimes 5 times, 10 times the earnings. Right? Why? So why after doing the same work in that country, why they get 5 times, 10 times bigger income? Have you ever thought about it? Have you ever thought about it? Can someone tell me why is it? You do the same job in Sri Lanka, say get 50,000, and do the same task was even lesser work, and you get say 300,000, sometimes even 500,000, right? 10 times. And මේ 50,000 වැඩ කරන හිටුවන් ගිලකෙන් මට ලක්ෂ 5ක් කමනවා වගේ. What is it? Why is it? What is the difference? Anyone? Can anyone give me an answer, please? Because these are the things you must think, right? So the reason is, say this country is 10 times productive. ඒ රට අපේ වගේ 10 ගුණයක් ඵලදායි රටක්. That is why they get same effort or less effort, they get this much of money. So these guys are more productive. Here, less productive due to various reasons. So therefore, මේකෙන් තමයි තනිකර ගේම ගහන්නේ. රටක් දියුණු කරනවා කියන රටේ ඵලදායීතාව වැඩි. රටේ කාලකන්ණි නැහැ. Simple as that. So forget about the country, you think about yourself. Forget about others. Make sure that you are productive. Your organization is productive. Your business is productive. Because you can't fix all the problems in this country, right? First, you fix yourself. You get out of that vicious cycle. First of all, know what is mean by productive. Doing the right things, and those right things you do in the best possible way, the right way, effective and efficient. That is called productive. First, you become productive before trying to make your organization and other things productive. Okay. So you can clearly see that. So what is the most productive approach? So you are doing the right things, you are going towards the correct target, and you are doing it in the very efficient manner. So this is both effective and efficient. This is very efficient, but you are not going to the targets. This is unfortunate, right? You are very efficient, but not effective. This is actually, this is the best. This is the best. This is the second best. This is second best because at least you achieve your target, though it is little bit late. That means you are effective but not efficient. Anyway, that is also good. So therefore, number one is effectiveness. Number two is efficiency. Not number one is efficiency because this guy is very efficient, but he is never going to achieve the objectives. He is never going to see the success. But this guy is going to get the success at least after some time. But this is the pathetic guy, right? He is not efficient. He is not effective. අපි කියන්නේ කාලකන්ණියෙක් වගේ කියලා. මේ වෙලාවේ එහෙන කඩිසර කාලකන්ණියෙක් මේ ඇවිල්ලා කම් මහා අපත කාලකන්ණියෙක්. සමහර BIT කරන්නේත් තවම තමයි. හරි. BIT කරන්නේත් එහෙමයි. සමහරව අවුරුදු 3යි BIT එක ඉවරයි තමන්ගේ ඔබ්ජෙක්ටිව් අචීව් කරා. මොනවාද ඔබ්ජෙක්ටිව්? විභාගේ පාස්, good results, have the competency, have the attitude. It's very simple, right? Very simple මේ BIT එකේ මේ ලෝකේ අල්ලන්නේ නැහැ. Good results, acquire the competencies, acquire the attitude. That's it. වෙන මුකුත් කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. ඩිග්‍රී එක ගන්න. Okay. So that means you are productive, you know management, you know programming, you know software development or whatever, designing or whatever the area you want to specialize. Right? And you have the soft skills, you have the leadership skills. Okay. Right, quality. So we can't forget about quality and talk about management because one of the results of managing things is you get higher quality results. Right? Higher quality results. So therefore, if you manage everything, your project, your organization, yourself, you are going to see better quality results. Right? Better quality results. I don't think that anyone hate quality, right? Everyone love quality. But some people, what happens is they are not used to quality. They are not used to quality. කණුව යන්නේ හැමතිස්සෙම අසුචි බාන්දනේ ගන්නේ. ඒතකොට ඒකට quality දෙයක් කියන එක යාට තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. යාට quality කියන්නේ මොකද්ද කියලා තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. යාට quality කියන්නේ අරක තමයි. Right? So that is unfortunate, right? So first of all, make sure that you have the sense of what is quality. What is quality? Then try to achieve that. Then try to get quality from others. නේද? සමහරව හිතන හරි මට quality phone එකක් ඕන, quality car එකක් ඕන. ඊට කලින් හිතන්න ඔයා qualityද කියලා. ඔයා කරන වැඩේ qualityද කියලා. ඔයා කරන වැඩේ quality නම් මට කවදා හරි quality car එකකට යන්න පුළුවන්. quality නේද? quality phone එකකට යන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි එතනින් පටන් ගන්න ඕනේ එතනින් නෙමෙයි ඔයාගේ. So as I told you, when you manage things, it's less stress and more happiness, obviously. Because when you manage things, you are not under stress because you see the success. You are productive. You see quality results. Right. What are the core tasks in management? Actually, these are your next four topics. So if you look at your syllabus, these are your next four subtopic. Plan, organize, lead, control. So those are called the four core tasks in management. Right. In any management syllabus, you learn these four. Look at your syllabus. Plan, organize, lead, control. Then you are done. ඔක ඉගෙන ගන්න එක තමයි management කියන්නේ. Right? ඔක ඉගෙන ගත්තා management දන්න. It's not rocket science. But those are the core tasks. So then you have some supplementary tasks. So that those help you doing your management activities better. For example, if you want to be a good leader, so you need good uh, communication skills. Right? When you do controlling, you need good decision making. Right? You need to negotiate with others. You need to be able to manage changes because you need to change things. That is also part of the leadership. So therefore, these are some supplementary tasks or competencies you need to use when you are doing your quotas. Okay, quotas. So this is the big picture, the process of management. So you have resources, right? Say organization, you have the human resources, money, organization's capital, physical resources like machinery and so on. Information is another important resource you have. You and your other employees are having. So the result is you want quality results, performance, achieve objectives, attain goals, product, services, efficiency, effectiveness. Product and services means quality product and services. Efficiency and effectiveness means productivity. Quality, productivity, achieve objectives. So from these resources, how do you get from here to here? Plan, organize, lead, control, manage. Manage. Right? So that is what we are going to discuss in our next four topics. Right. So why managing is important? So remember the effectiveness and efficiency. So we can't forget about that. So ideally, you must be very highly effective and highly efficient. If you are highly effective and highly efficient, you can grow. You can grow. Every year you grow. Your business grow, your personality, your as a person you grow, your career is growing because you are doing effective things in an efficient manner. But if you are not effective and efficient, so you quickly die. It's die or do. ඔගොල්ලෝ අහලා තියෙනවද? Evolution. Selective මොකද ඒක කියන්නේ? Anyone who has done bio? සමහර ජීවීන් වඳ වෙලා යනවා. වඳ වෙලා යනවා. ඒකට කියන වචනේ මට එකපාරට ඔලුවට එන්නේ නැහැ. සමහර ජීවීන් වඳ වෙනවා. දැන් ඩයිනෝසර්ලා වඳ වුණා. පැන්ඩා වඳ වෙන්න ගිහිල්ලා අන්තම් මේ මිනිස්සුන්ගේ වුණාවට අල්ලන් ඉන්නේ. පැන්ඩා නම් වඳ වෙන්නම ඕන මහා මීහරක් වැඩනේ කරන්නේ. නිකන් ගහකටවත් නැග ගන්න බෑ. So quick die because they are not effective. කරන්නේම ගොම් වැඩ. efficiency එකකුත් නැහැ කරන වැඩිත් කරන්නේ මහා මූසර විදියට. Quick die. So then what about if you are effective but not efficient? you can at least survive because you are effective. You are doing the right things. ඔයා කොහොම කොහම හරි ඉබ්බෝ වගේ හිමින් හිමින් හරි achieve කරනවා. You can survive. So if you are not effective but efficient, you will slowly die. Slowly die. මොකද එයා ටිකක් අර efficient හන්දවල ටිකක් අනිත් අයට වඩා ඉන්න පුළුවන් අල්ලගෙන. කියන්නේ කරන වැරදි වැඩ කරන අතරතුර හරි වැඩ එකක් හරි කරනවා නේද? එතකොට ඒක හරි ඉක්මනට කරනවා. But anyway, you are also going to die at the end. But these guys are going to die fast because they are not effective, they are not efficient. And these guys are going to see the growth because they are effective and efficient. Okay, simple as that. So think about that. As a person, are you effective and efficient? As an organization, are you working in effective and efficient organization? Right? As a society, are you living in effective and efficient society? As a country, are you living in effective and efficient country? Because maybe the country will grow, country will quickly die, country will slowly die, or country will survive. මේ රටේ මිනිස්සු සහ ආණ්ඩුවේ මිනිස්සුනේ පත් කරන්නේ ආණ්ඩුව. එතකොට මේ ආණ්ඩුව effective and efficient වැඩ කරනවා නම් මේ රට grow වෙනවා. Like Japan, Dubai, Singapore, South Korea, Western European countries, or else they are going to see quickly die. අර එකපාරට රට කඩන් වෙන්නේ නේද? එකපාරට රට කඩන් වෙන්නේ නේද? තෙල් නැහැ, වත් විදුලිය නැහැ. ඇස් ඉදිරිපිටම කඩන් වෙන්නේ නේද? ඇස් ඉදිරිපිට නෙවෙයි කඩන් වෙනවා කියන්නේ අනිත් මිනිස්සු දන්නවා. හරි? ඒක quickly die කියලා ඔයගොල්ලෝ විශ්වාස කරනවද? quickly die නෙමෙයි නම් ඒ මිනිස්සයාට ඊට අවුරුදු දෙකකට කලින් කියලා 69 ලක්ෂයක් ඡන්ද දුන්නේ කොහොමද? මොකද 69 ලක්ෂය ඡන්ද දුන්නේ මේ කඩන් වැටෙන්න කියලාද? අපිට තෙල් නැති වෙන්න ඕන නේද? ඒ 69 ලක්ෂයෙම එදා කිරිබත් කෑවා. 69 ලක්ෂයෙම කිරිබත් කෑවා. ඒගොල්ලෝ හිතුවේ ඒගොල්ලෝ කවුද කිරිබත් කන්නේ? කඩන් වැටෙන රටකට. ඒ හැමෝම හිතන් ඉතින් මොකද්ද? පට්ට කියලා. පට්ට කියලා හිතන් ඉතින්. හැබැයි quickly die. Quickly die. Because if not effective, not efficient. Right. So now let's look at managing business organizations or managing organizations. So in organizations, formally we have management post. Formally. Managers, non-managers. But it doesn't mean that non-managers have no management tasks. Of course, they need to plan out their tasks and so on. They need to organize. They need to also take some leadership. But formally, there are managers. And we can subdivide it into 3 layers. Top management or strategic managers, middle or tactical managers, first line or low level managers. It's not nice to say low level, right? So therefore we usually call it first line managers. Top managers, middle managers, first line managers, strategic managers, tactical managers. Okay. And in an organization, typically you have only one top manager. Like country also we have one top manager, right? President or prime minister. Organization, it is CEO, managing director. For example, Facebook, it is Mark Zuckerberg. Okay. Tesla, Elon Musk, CEO. So just one person, CEO, managing director, chairman, no whatever. So then we have the middle managers. The middle managers are the functional heads, like finance manager, marketing manager, HR manager, engineering manager. So they concentrate on their respective areas. They are the tactical managers. And first line managers are something like center head, factory managers, branch managers, or any lower level, like even team leaders, project managers. So they are first line managers. So when you go up, you are thinking more and more about long-term things, strategic things. And you are thinking more and more about external things like competitors, economy, business, politics. But when you go down, you more and more think about your internal things, short-term decision making, like your first line managers. Okay. So those are the three layers of management. And then we have the non-management staff like cashiers, clerks, and so on. And these three layers of managers need three type of skills. Three type of skills. What are those type of skills? Conceptual skills, human skills, and technical skills. Even top manager need a technical skill. අඩු ගන්න ලැප්ටොප් එකක් අතුන් කරගන්න පුළුවන් ඉන්නේ බෑනේ. එහෙම ගන්න නැහැ. හරි top managers ලා කියන්නේ මේ බූරුව නෙමෙයි top managers ලා technical වැඩ හොඳට පුළුවන්. engineer කෙනෙක් top manager කෙනෙක් වුණාම මොකෝ technical දන්නේ නැද්ද? හරි accountant කෙනෙක් top manager කෙනෙක් වුණාම මොකෝ technical දේවල් නැද්ද? Okay? But they don't need much. They don't need much. Okay? So here technical means, for example, it's not always මේ මජංගාගෙන එක නෙමෙයි technical කියන්නේ. For example, for a doctor, technical thing is doing a surgery, reading a ECG. So that is technical. For accountant, interpret final accounts. So that is technical thing. Right? But for the top managers, you need more conceptual knowledge, conceptual things, and very little technical. And of course, human management. For example, top managers need to negotiate, to communicate with the external parties, government, right? Business partners, human, and communicate with their tactical managers, communicate with their other people. So human, everyone need bit of human skills, human handling skills. But when you go down, you need less and less conceptual and more technical. More and more technical. So everyone need the same amount of human skills. Because here working with more with external people. Here also you are working with more and more internal people. Internal people are also human. External people are also human. Okay. So therefore everyone needs human skills, but when you go down, you need less conceptual and more technical. Because you are more and more hands-on. Okay. Right. So that is the three levels. So now let's subdivide the managerial roles. So this is not related to the layers. In general, if you are a manager, whether strategic manager, tactical manager, or first line manager, so you need to play different roles. Actually, you need to play three different roles. This is a very famous question in exams. What are those three roles? Interpersonal roles, informational roles, decision-making roles. So this is a very famous question, all right in your exams. So interpersonal means roles that you need to communicate, collaborate with others, negotiate with others, having good relationship with others, internal and external. Internal and external. Informational role means how you handle your information. Information in, information out. As a manager, because you get information, you need to send some information to your next level and so on. So there's a role to play. Okay. And decision making role. So everyone need to take decisions. Whether you are strategic manager or first line manager or tactical manager, day-to-day decisions, special decisions. So there's a role. So what are the three roles? Interpersonal, informational, decision making. And each role you have subtasks. Or sub roles. So in interpersonal roles, we can identify these three sub roles. These slides are super important for exam. So what are the three interpersonal roles? Figurehead, leader, liaison. So figurehead means you are the symbolic head. Say you are the HR manager. So you are the symbolic head for HR functions. Say you are the finance manager, you are the symbolic head for finance. Say you are the CEO, you are the symbolic head for your organization. Ceremonial duties. Okay. So you need to represent your organization, your division, right? So that is figurehead role because managers are high level post. Of course, the top in a business organization, the topmost role is also manager, right? CEO, managing director. So therefore, you need some ceremonial duties to attend, representing your organization, your unit. Then leader. Okay. So leadership is very important. Anyway, leadership is one of your topic, right? Plan, organize, lead, control. So there we will look at what is mean by leader. Okay. Because otherwise, I'm not going to discuss about what is leadership here. Right. So basically, leadership means you take initiatives, you can motivate others. Simple as that. You take initiative. You don't wait things to happen. Rather, you make things happen. වෙනකම් බලන් ඉන්නවා වෙන්න සලස්සන. අනිත් අය උඩ බලන් ඉන්නකොට වැඩ කරනවා. අනිත් අය පස්ස ගහනකොට ඉස්සරහට යනවා. So that is called taking initiatives. Leaders take initiatives. And leaders can motivate themselves and motivate others. ලීඩර් කෙනෙක් යම් කිව්වම අනිත් අය පස්සෙන් එනවා. ලීඩර් කෙනෙක් නෙමෙයි යම් කිව්වොත් එමෙ එකක්වත් නැහැ. ඒක දැකලා ඇතිනේ දැන් කවුද අපේ ජනාධිපති ඉන්නේ කවුද දැන්? අනුරු කුමාර. අනුරු කුමාර යම් කිව්වම අනුරු කුමාරගේ පස්සෙන් එනවා නේද? ඕගාලා එනවා මිනිස්සු. ලීඩර්ෂිප්. ඉස්සර මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂත් එහෙම නැහැ. මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ යම් කිව්වොත් අප්පට සිරිය එනවා නේද? දරු මල්ලොත් කරේ තියාගෙන දුවගෙන එනවා. අප්පච්චි ගාගෙන. ලීඩර්ෂිප්. Leadership. So that is called leadership. හැබැයි සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාසයම කිව්වම නේද අර ගෝල්ඩ් ෆේස් එකේ ගිහිල්ලා හරි අපි ගාමු කියනකොට උඩ අල්ලන් ගන්නවා. එතන ඉන්නේ මිනිස්සු. හරි ඒ කවුරුත් අනුකම්පා කරන්නවත් නැහැ. ලීඩර්ෂිප් එකක් නැහැ. හරි. So that is anyway we will discuss that under leadership, okay? But anyway, it's an interpersonal role. Figurehead, leader, liaison. So liaison means having a good network with others. That is super important. Right? Liaison. Building and maintaining a network of relationships. So this is a very practical subject. Okay? Very practical subject. මම ගොඩක් අර පොලිටික්ස් වලින් ගන්න ඔයගලන්ට ඉතින් මම දන්නේ මැනේජර්ස්ලා ගැන කතා කරලා ඔයගොල්ලෝ දන්නේ නැහැ නේ. මම වැඩ කරපු තැන් වල මැනේජර්ස්ලා ගැන. නම් පොලිටිෂියන් ලෝකෙට පේනවනේ ඒකයි මම ගන්නේ. ඔයගොල්ලන් මේ මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂේම හැම නළුවෙක් නිලියෙක්ටම උපන්දිනේ දවසට කෝල් කරනවා. කොහොමද? මොකද කරන්නේ? ඊට පස්සේ මීඩියා වලටත් ඒක කට් එකක් දෙනවා. Liaison, building the network. Building the network. රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහේම තමන්ගේ පාක්ෂිකයෙක් දැක්කම පස්සාරව. එයාට ලීඩර්ෂිප් නෑ නේද? අවුරුදු මම ඉස්කෝලේ යන කාලේ තමයි රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ UMP එකේ නායකයා වුණේ. මම ඉස්කෝලේ යන කාලේ. ඔයගොල්ලෝ විශ්වාස කරයිද දන්නේ. හරි? හැබැයි මිනිහ එකපාරක් ජනාධිපති වුණේ නැහැ. ජනාධිපති වුණාට පින් ජනාධිපති ඒව කවුරුත් ගණන් ගන්න නැහැ නේ. ඡන්දකින් දිනන්න බැරි වුණා. මොන ලැජ්ජට ඇති වැඩක්ද? හැමදාම ඉල්ලනවා කරාද? නැත්තම් වෙන කාවල් බිල්ලටද? දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ හිතන ආයි දිනයි කියලා නෑ ආයි දිනන්නේ නැහැ. අච්චර මේ රටේ ආර්ථිකය කොට දාලා මිනිස්සු ඡන්ද දෙන්නේ නැත්තයි ඉතින්. මිනිස්සු ගණන් ගන්න නැහැ. Because he doesn't have the leadership skills. He has other skills. He's an expert in economic handling, right? Management. ඒ පැත්තේ වෙන්න දේවල් වලින්. economy පැත්තේ එයා හොඳයි මහා බැංකුවේ අධිපති කරා නම්. හරි. රටේ ෆයිනෑන්ස් මිනිස්ටර් වුණා නම් මරු. හැබැයි අගමැති වෙලා ජනාධිපති වෙන්න බෑ. ජනාධිපති වුණොත් ඡන්ද ටික ගන්නවා. ජනාධිපති වෙන්න එන්න ඕනේ. He doesn't have that leadership. රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ යම් කිව්වම එකෙක්වත් පිටිපස්සේ නැහැ. රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ විතරයි ගිහිලා තියෙන්නේ. අර ඡන්ද දාලා ඇවිල්ලා කිව්වේ නේද? මේ කවුරු ඡන්ද දාන්න ඇවිල්ලා නැහැනේ. මිනිහා හිතන් ඉඳලා තියෙන්නේ මේ ඔක්කොම ඇවිල්ලා ඡන්ද දායි කියලා යාට. මිනිහා ඡන්ද දාන්න ගිහිල්ලා කියනවා කො එකෙක්වත් එන්නේ නැහැ මේ ඡන්ද දාන්න. නේද? He is not a leader in that sense. Right. Interpersonal roles, what are the interpersonal roles? Figurehead, leader, liaison. So then we have informational roles. So this is very easy to remember. What are the three informational roles? Disseminator. Right? Disseminator means you collect information and give it to the relevant parties. Collect and give it to the relevant parties. Distribute it to the correct relevant parties. Monitor means you continuously monitor the information flow. Whether the information, because some information you want to make sure that that information is transmitted. And at the same time, you want to check whether are there any misinformation going? Are there any important information blocked? You need to keep monitoring. And spokesperson means you provide the information to the relevant parties. You are the spokesperson for your organization, your head, your section, right? So disseminator, collect and facilitate transmission. Keep monitoring, and you provide the information, relevant information to others. Monitor, disseminator, spokesperson. So the final set of roles are decision-making roles. Remember the three types? We are into the third category. Decision-making roles. What are those? Entrepreneur, disturbance handler, resource allocator, negotiator. Entrepreneur means sometimes managers need to act like an entrepreneur, businessman. ව්‍යවසායකයෙක් වගේ හැසිරෙන්න. Right? So that means you take initiatives, you take risks, you build things, you encourage others to change, innovate. So that is what entrepreneurs do. So managers need to sometimes act like an entrepreneur, especially business management. Disturbance handler means it's again decision making. When there are emergency situations, contingency situations, bad things happening, you must quickly respond, take decision, and get out of the trouble. Then you must act like a resource allocator, because resource allocation is a decision. How much money is allocated for this, that, how much of resources, how much of employees we allocate for these different organization units and so on. It's a decision that you need to take. And also negotiate. You need to negotiate with internal people. You need to negotiate with external people. That is also decision making. To what value you are going to negotiate. Right? Negotiate. So these are very important. Decision making roles. Okay. Right. So those are the three roles. What are those three roles? Interpersonal, 3 sub roles. Informational, 3 sub roles. Decision making, 4 sub roles. Super important for exam. Okay. Right. What are the essential qualities of a manager? Right. Now we are into the final part. Of course, you must understand management concept. At least you must know what is management, right? What are the key tasks in management? Plan, organize, lead, control. What are the objectives of management? Productivity, quality, right? And so on. And you must be a critical thinker. So you must question things. You don't take anything for granted. You question things, because then only you can improve things, increase the productivity. You can see that there's a room for improvement. There's a better way of doing this. Otherwise, you will be a traditional person who doing things in the traditional manner. you won't be able to improve things. And of course, you must be able to pay attention to details. So you must see things that others can't see. And also, of course, you must build your leadership. බලෙන් කරන්න බෑ. බලෙන් කරන්න බෑ. You have a bit of a sort of a tolerance limit. That means you can improve, but you can't convert X into Y. X into Y. Leadership එක ඇඟේ පොඩ්ඩක් වන්ද කෙනෙක් leadership දෙන්න බෑ හරි. ඒගොල්ලෝ මැරෙන්නෙත් ඒ විදිහටම තමයි. But there's a certain level of improvements you can do. හැබැයි improve වෙන කට්ටියක් තියෙන improve වෙන්නේ නැති කට්ටියක් තියෙනවා. හරි improve වෙන කට්ටිය improve වෙනවා දරපඩ එක. And also have a good relationship with your team members, build a network of relationships, delegate your tasks, don't try to do everything by yourself. Because management is not doing things, management is managing things. Okay. Right, so these are some different categorization of management based on horizontal differences, not vertical. අපි කලින් බෙදුවා මතකද vertically? Strategic manager, tactical managers, first line managers. දැන් මේ එහෙම හිතන්න නැතුව මේගොල්ලෝ කරන වැඩ අනුව එහෙම නිකන් මේ horizontally බෙදන්න හදන්නේ මේක නැතුව. හරි ඉස්සෙල්ලා මේක කියන දේ තේරෙන්න. හරි. මෙහෙම මේ එක එක වර්ගයේ managers ලා ඉන්නවා. ඒගොල්ලෝ එක එක levels වල ඉන්න පුළුවන්. That is functional managers. Okay. That is marketing manager, finance manager. So ඒගොල්ලෝ horizontally වෙනස් වෙනවා නේ. marketing manager මෙතන ඉන්නවා, finance manager ඉන්නවා, HR manager ඉන්නවා. හරි engineering managers ඉන්නවා. හරිනේ horizontal. Then you can have different line managers. අර අපේ production line වල තියෙන managers ලා. අර line එකේ manager, මේ line එකේ manager. Right. Or maybe manager of this factory, manager of the other factory. අපි මේ company ට factories පහක් තියෙනවා කියලා. එතකොට ඒගොල්ලෝ horizontal. Staff managers, general managers. So general manager of the factory 1, general manager of the factory 2. And project managers, say project managers of project 1, project 2, project 3, project 4. Right? Project managers 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see horizontal. So there is another classification: project managers, general managers, staff managers, line managers, functional managers. So they are doing a bit of different things. So what the project manager is doing is not what the line manager is doing. That is not what the staff managers or general managers are doing. Okay. Right. So this is our final subtopic: how to be a new manager. Remember, we are living in 2025. So the way we do management in 2025 is not the way we used to do management in 1990s or 2000 or 1990s or 1980s or 1950s. So the way we do manage or the way people manage things is also evolved. It's evolved. Unfortunately, you don't have the history of management. The old notes have the history of management of it. You can read it because it's very important that you understand how the management subject evolved. Just like you learn history of computing, okay, how the management subject evolved in different eras. From 1800 onwards. Okay. Right. So let's look at what are the expectation of new managers or new managers for the information era. Okay. So this is old way, this is new way. Old approach, managers were specialists. Now managers are generalists. So they just coordinates. So they are all rounders. They are not just specialized in one area. We need more and more all rounders. So all managers, they get things done through own effort. New managers, they get things done through others. So they delegate. So all managers are individual people, individual men. So they individually act. But new managers, so they are team. So they act like a team. So they are network builders. So all managers work independently. New managers are interdependent because the new organizations are very dynamic. So you can't independently work. You depends on so many other managers, non-managers, and so on. So finally, what you need to think is you must be a generalist, not a specialist. You must delegate more and more work, right? Rather than you do things, you try to get delegate things to others. Rather than doing things as an individual, try to do it as a team. Team. Okay. So this is another very important slide. You will find some past paper questions on this. We will do the past papers today itself. So this is new workplace. This is old workplace. All workplaces were more mechanical. New workplaces are more and more digital. All workplaces were local, domestic. Now we think the global. Homogeneous, heterogeneous, diverse. All workplaces were stable. New workplaces are very dynamic, changing. All workplaces were calm and predictable. New workplaces are frequent crisis, turbulent. All workplaces more and more physical assets. New workplace has more and more information, virtual knowledge base. All workplaces were more structured, localized. New workplaces are more virtual, flexible. All workplaces we had loyal employees. New workplaces we have very dynamic employees, right? Therefore, we must empower them. කියන්නේ කලින් employees එතන ඉන්නවා කාලයක්. දැන් ඉන්න employees එක තැන ඉන්නේ නැහැ. ඒගොල්ලෝ විතර මාරු වෙවි යනවා. ඒගොල්ලන්ට අර වගේ සලකන්න බෑ. Right? All managers were autocratic. They were bosses. But now you can't be boss. You must be leader. Right? You must be a coach. And new workplace, you must work as a team, not as an individual. මම ලොක්කා අනිත් අය එහෙම නෑ. ඔයා ටීම් එකේ එක්කෙනෙක් විතරයි. Right? So in new workplace, you need to more and more collaborate rather than compete. So this is super, super important. Right? So this is the new way of thinking for manager. So more and more emphasis on teamwork, collaboration, delegation, okay, digital, new technologies, dynamic, lot of chaos situations, okay, not like very calm, quiet, organized, structured, physical, old organizations. No, we are now in the new organizations, new society. Right. So we'll do few past paper questions. Not few past paper questions. We are going to finish the past paper. There's nothing called past paper session for this subject. Subject එක වෙනකොට past papers ඉවරයි. Right. අවුරුදු තුනක past papers ඉවරයි. පොද අවුරුදු තුනයි මේක subject එකේ past paper තියෙන්නේ කොහොමද හරි? ඊට කලින් තියෙනවා subject දෙකේ past papers වෙන වෙන මම ඕන ඒ past papers ටික දෙන්නම්. ඒකට ඒක හැබැයි syllabus එකේ නැතිවත් ඒවයි තියෙනවා. හරි. Right. So this is 2024 question number 1. Select sets of keywords to be used to define management correctly. So මේ question එක මම හිතන අවුරුදු 3 මාලා තියෙනවා. මේ paper එක ඔයාලට කරන්න ලේසි එක්තරා විදිහට මොකද paper එක තියෙන එකම question අහන්න. Right. Can you do this? tackle කරන්න බෑ. Multiple answers are possible. Multiple answers are possible. ඒවට කනට ඇහිච්ච වචන තියෙනවා කනට ඇහිච්ච නැති වචන තියෙනවා. ඇහිච්ච වචන තියෙන එක විතරක් select කරන්න. මේක නේ උත්තරේ හරියත්තේ. Remember කනට ඇහිච්ච වචන මොනවද? Plan, organize, lead, control. දැන් ඇහෙන්නේ මම කී පාරක් වෙනවා කිව්වද? තාම මොනවද මම කිව්වේ? goals, නේද? තව මොනවද කිව්වේ? productivity, quality වගේ වචන කිව්වා නේද? දැන් බලන්න ඒවා තියෙන්නත් ඕනේ නේද? මැනේජ්මන්ට් කියන්නේ මේ ඔන්න ඕවා. ඩේ ටු ඩේ වැඩ කරන එකවත් නෙමෙයි නේද? ටාස්ක් ඒවා නෙමෙයි. ඕගනයිසේෂන් හරිද? ඕගනයිසේෂන් කියන්නේ ඕගනයිසින් කියලා ගමුකෝ අපි. මොකද කොහොමත් හැම එකෙම තියෙනවනේ. හරි කොහොමත් හැම එකෙම තියෙනවා. Resources, right? So remember we have the left side resources, we have the goals. මතක නේද? Resources වලින් goals achieve කරන්න. ඒකත් මතක නේ. Resources, goals. Resources වලින් goals achieve කරේ මතක නේද diagram? So resources are okay, right? Goals, efficiency, effectiveness. process එකක් ගැන අපි කතා කරාද ලොකුවට. process එකකුත් හැබැයි එක්තරා විදිහකට තියෙනව නේද? Because management is a process. Right? Management is a sort of a process. But not operations. Operations කියන්නේ management නෙමෙයි. Operations වලට දැන් non management ආයේ ඉන්නේ. Right? Non management ආයේ. Functions no. Functions කරන්නේ නෙමෙයි management තියෙන්නේ. Budget I don't think it's directly related. Environment නම් ඉතින් කමක් නැහැ කියන environment එකනේ manage කරන්නේ. Right. I don't want to take operations, functions, budget වගේ වචන නම් ගන්න නැහැ. Functions, process කියන එක ගන්නවා ගොඩක් අයට. overall process එකනේ අපි තියෙන්නේ. Functions තියෙනවා මෙතන. budget තියෙනවා මෙතන. budget වගේ ඒවා ඉන්නේ නැහැ සාමාන්‍යයෙන්. Operations. So this is good. Process is okay, resources are okay, efficiency, goals, effectiveness, planning, organizing, leading, controlling. So this is the answer. Okay. උදේට මතක ගන්න යන වචන සෙට් එක. ඕක අයිලා පළවෙනි ස්ලයිඩ් එකෙන් අරන් තියෙන්නේ. පළවෙනි ස්ලයිඩ් එකේ තමයි වචන ටික සෙට් එක කියලා තියෙන්නේ. ඉතින් පළවෙනි ස්ලයිඩ් එකේ ඔක තියෙනවා. Management is the attainment of organizational goals in an effective and efficient manner through planning, organizing, leading and controlling organizational resources. උතනින් අර process කියන එක මේ overall හන්ද process කියන එක ගන්නවා. හැබැයි හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න functions, operations, budget වගේ ඒවා අදාළ නැත. මොකද මේ question එක හැම අවුරුද්දේම වගේ අහනවා. Right, answer is D. Right, answer is D. Correct. Answer is D. Right, next question. Assume you have been assigned to do a presentation on managerial skills. Managerial skills for an industrial audience. Select the correct keywords you may use to represent the managerial skills in your presentation. What are the managerial skills? I can give you a hint. Only one answer is correct for this one also. Right? Managerial skills බෙදුවෝ the conceptual, human, technical. මතක දෙක එක layers වලට වෙනස් වෙනවා කිව්වා. Right? Conceptual, human and technical. So the top managers need more conceptual and less technical. First line managers need less conceptual and more technical. Right, so this is 2023 on our question එක ආයෙ අහලා තියෙනවා. Select the set of keywords දැන් ඉතින් කරන්න පුළුවන් මේක නේද? දැන් ඔක් කරගන්න පුළුවන් බලන්න හරි. ඒකට මම වෙලාව නාස්ති කරන්නේ නැහැ. Right, do this. Assume you have been assigned to do a presentation on managerial roles. On එකම question අහන්නේ. Managerial roles for an industrial organization. Select the correct set of keywords you may use to represent the managerial roles in your presentation. Earlier managerial skills. දැන් අහන්නේ managerial roles. පටලවා ගන්න එපා. So Can you remember the three roles? Roles තුනකට බෙදුවකක් මතකද? ඊට පස්සේ තුන ආයි බෙදුවා මේම හතරට සහ පහට කියලානේ. හතරට පහට බෙදුවේ. මට මතක නැහැ. හතර පහේනේ යාර. Interpersonal, informational, decision making. තුනයි හතරයි. තුනයි හතරයි කියපුවේනේ. Interpersonal, informational, decision making නේ. ඒ උත්තරේ දිනවද බලන්න. ඒ උත්තරේ නෑ. ඒ උත්තරේ නෑනේ. එන මේ සබ් ඩිවිෂන් එකට තමයි නේ උත්තර හදලා තියෙන්නේ. මොකද මේක බෙදන්න ඕනේ නැත්නම් ඒක ඇතුළේ එකක් බෙදන්න ඕනේ. ඒක බෙදන්නේ නෑ. එහෙනම් බලන්න මේ සබ් ඩිවිෂන් තියනවාද කියලා උත්තර. Monitor, disseminator, spokesperson. හරි නේද? ඉන්ෆර්මේෂන් වල තුනක් නේද? මේක තුනයි හතරයි යා. හරි නේද? Monitor, disseminator, spokesperson. That is informational role. The three sub roles. Leader, functional head, monitor. නෑ නේද? මේ monitor ඒකට ආවේ නෑ නේද? I don't think so. මේක multiple answers පුළුවන් මම හිතන්නේ. Entrepreneur, decision making. Entrepreneur, resource allocator, senior manager එකක් කරේ නෑ. Monitor, disseminator, section head. මේ කලවංගලදී section head කතාව මේ කොහොමද? Figurehead, leader, liaison. හරි නේද? Interpersonal නේද? Figurehead, leader, liaison. Symbolic කියන්නේ figurehead කියන්නේ. I'll go for A and C. A and C. Right. 2022 ආයෙ අර වට්ටෝරු question එක තියෙනවා ඒක ඔයගොල්ලෝ කරගන්න. right. ඒක දෙවෙනි එක කරගන්න. Assume you have been assigned to do a presentation on modern workplace. Modern workplace කියන්නේ 2025. හරි. අන්තිම slide දෙකෙන් අහලා තියෙනවා. For an industrial audience, select the set of keywords you may use to highlight the modern workplace in your presentation. It's an interesting question. Make කරන්න පුළුවන් මරු. Modern workplace එකයි පරණ එක නෙමෙයි. Modern workplace is dynamic, chaos, teamwork, right? Competitive, team oriented, digital. crisis තියෙනවා ඒක ඇතුලේ හැමතිස්සෙම. දැන් උදාහරණයකට ඔයගොල්ලෝ දන්නවද? ඇමරිකාවේ ජනාධිපති ඇවිල්ලා හැමදාම ඔලුව ගිනි අරගෙන ඉන්නේ නේද? crisis. එහෙම තමයි modern world එක. ඔලුව ගිනි අරන් තමයි ඉන්නේ managers ලා. right structured පරණ. right individual පරණ. change yes, digital yes, global yes, collaboration yes, flexible yes. I'll go for B. Empowered yes, individual no, teamwork, right? Loyal no, loyal, calm, parana. Crisis yes, diverse yes, digital yes, global yes, empowered yes. I'll go for B and E. B and E. Right, so that is our topic number 1. Okay, so now let's move on to our second topic, planning. So remember now we are into the 4 tasks. Our next 4 topics are planning, organizing, lead, controlling, then syllabus is over. Right. Again, you have very small syllabus, but you must be very serious about these things. Actually, I like this syllabus because this syllabus is no bullshit, right? Only relevant things in a serious level, right? Only the relevant things in a serious level. That is how the education should be. Right. What is mean by planning? Right. So we will look at what is planning, why do we want to plan, and some other concept related to planning, like levels of planning, planning process, some special plans. Right? So this is the essential things, right? It's very compact syllabus. I really like that. Actually, the person who has made that syllabus know management. Some syllabus full of bullshits. For the sake of expanding the syllabus, they add things, right? But this one is essential things. Right. So what is planning? So that is the first thing you must understand, right? Right. So planning involves determining the goals and defining the means for achieving them. So that is what planning. For example, say before you go for a trip, you want to plan it, right? Say before you go in for a trip, you need to plan it. Okay. First of all, you must identify your goals. Where do you want to go? Is it Nuwara or Jaffna? Okay. Anuradhapura or where? So, so determine your goals. Where do you want to go? What do you want to achieve? So then defining how are you going to achieve that? Right? For example, say you want to go to Nuwara, maybe you want to define, okay, I will go through Hatton Road or through Nuwara, Kandy. How are you planning to go? Is it you go by train or by your own vehicle or by bus? Right? Determine your goals. How are you going to achieve that? Right? In which means? So therefore, plan is like a blueprint. Blueprint. So your blueprint says this is how we are going to achieve it. And this is our goal, these are our goals, and this is how we are going to achieve it. So then your task is follow this plan. So basically, goals means first you look at the goals, then you look at determine the means. If you don't define your goals properly, you will not be able to define your means because means depends on the goals. So that is why I told you that. So when you start your BIT degree program, first of all, you must have the goals. Right? You must have the goals. For example, when I did my first degree, I had the goals. My number one goal was, right? My number one goals was I want to make sure that after my 4 years, I'm independent person. I'm no longer burdened to my parents. Not only I don't want to be a burden to my parents, I wanted to look after them. Okay. That was one of my objective. Based on that objective, I decided I will do this degree, this particular degree program, so that I can achieve my goals. That is one of the objectives, right? Other objectives, of course, I'm a critical thinker, I'm a logical thinker, I want to uh, use my potential. I like to build things. I like problem solving. So I want to use that because from my kids or teenage, I am not a problem maker. Because some people they create problems. I'm not that kind of person. I want to solve problems. I like challenges. So likewise, everyone must have goals, and then they must know how are you going to achieve your goals. Whether it's your life, your business, profession, career. So that is planning. So first of all, identify your goals. A lot of people they don't have goals. They have never thought about what are your goals, what are your objectives. Then how can you plan? Then how can you plan? Then what is the best way to achieve that? Because there are alternative ways. What is your best way? Right. So what are the benefits of planning? Because you know your goals, You have decided this is how we are going to achieve it. Out of the different ways, you have decided, okay, this is the way to go for us. So when you have a plan, it gives you a motivation and commitment because now you have a plan. නැත්නම් අපි කියන්නේ ඔළුව හැරුණ ඇතේ යනවා කියලා. නිකන් පාවෙන සරුංගල් වගේ කියලා ජීවිත. සරුංගලේ ඉතින් උලංගමන පැත්තකට ඔය යනවා. අරමුණක් නැහැ. So when you have a plan, you have thought about your objectives. And not only that, you have determined this is how are we going to achieve it. So now you have a well defined things to do. And it guides resource allocation, especially in a business organization. It guides to actions. Now you have guidelines to do. උදේ නැගිට්ටම කරන්න guideline එකක් තියෙනවා. You have a plan. It sets standards of performance and reduce uncertainty because you have a plan. And increase productivity because you are doing according to the plan. You have determined what is the best way and now you are doing it in that best way. Okay. It's all good. It's all good when you have plan and do. But there are limitations. So the thing is, no plan is bad. No planning is bad. At the same time, too much committed to planning is also bad. So this is another important thing you need to understand. Right? So planning is not sort of a solution to everything. Sometimes planning can be bad also. Because some people, when they have a plan, they think that automatically they achieve it. Having a plan and achieving the plan is two different things. Some people plan out things, but they never do make things happen. So some people think that planning is the end of the thing. No, planning is the beginning of the thing. Second thing is sometimes your plans are too rigid. Right? Sometimes your plan is too rigid because you have planned out everything. Now you have a lot of opportunities in the middle, but you don't see those opportunities because you are so focused on your plan. Sometimes you forget about all these opportunities. Why? It's not in your plan. It's not in your plan. That is unfortunate because you are so much committed to your plan. Okay. Sometimes when you are doing too much of planning, it blocks your intuition, creativity because you are just following the plan. So therefore, planning is important. Don't do anything without plan, but at the same time, too much planning, too much committed to planning, rigid planning is super dangerous. It can do harm more than good. That is why in your agile software development, you learn about agile plan. Just enough high level plan. Don't commit too much into your plan because your planning may not be always correct because planning is guessing. So your plan may not be realistic. So keep that in mind. Okay. So no planning is asking for troubles. Right? So that means you're jumping into the fire. At the same time, too much committed to a plan means it may be unrealistic and also you may oversight a lot of opportunities. You don't see the opportunities. So you can't look at those because you're so busy with your plan. Because you think that your plan is something like God's words. Plan it, but have flexibility. Be realistic. Right? How to overcome limitations of planning? Use agile planning. Right? Do planning, but have that flexibility with you. So what is agile planning? High level upfront planning and adjust when you have more and more visibility. Right? So that is called just enough planning. That is why in agile development, our final planning is on that day, daily plan. Remember daily stand-up meeting? That is where you final planning. It all start from portfolio planning. If you remember the agile software development, right? Sprint planning, release planning. But your today's work is planned. Final plan is today morning. So it's levels of plan. That is how you plan. Don't plan up to great details when you are going to do it in 1 year's time because you have very little visibility. So therefore, make sure you do hierarchical planning, especially in business organizations. Strategic managers do strategic planning, tactical planning, operational planning. Okay. And also, you need to do some general planning as well as specific planning. General planning for your organization, some planning for a specific thing like a specific task, and also time horizon. So long-term planning, mid-term planning, and short-term planning. Remember, the strategic managers most involved in short, long-term planning. Tactical managers, mid-term planning. First-line managers, most short-term planning, day-to-day planning. Okay. So this is the levels of planning. So this is strategic planning, tactical planning, operational planning. Operational planning is short-term planning, low-level planning. But you can see that while we have the three levels, strategic, tactical, and operation, there's a mission statement. So every organization have a mission statement. Right? Every organization, whether it's Google, Facebook, Microsoft, Apple, or if you take Sri Lankan context, Sampath Bank, John Keels, Abans. So every organization has a mission. So your strategies are created based on your missions, and tactics are created based on your strategies, and operations planning is based on those tactics. It's hierarchical. It is hierarchical. Okay. So this is the planning process. First of all, you need to develop the plan, develop a plan, whether it's strategic plan, no tactical plan, no operational plan, no whatever, project plan. You need to develop the plan. So for that, you need the mission, goals, and so on. Remember, first you set the goals, then you find what are the means of achieving that. That is called planning. This is for organization actually, right? This is for a business organization, organizational planning, not to see planning a small task. So therefore, number one, you need to have the mission and goals for the organization. So then you come up with that. This is basically a strategic plan. Then you come up with tactical plans, strategy maps, contingency plans, and so on. Then you plan your operations, so the low level planning, operational planning. Then you need to execute your plans at each level. And while you execute your plan, you need to monitor because sometimes you may deviate from plan. Then you need to take some control action. Sometimes you find that your plan is not realistic, then you need to change your plan. So there are two things, right? Sometimes you need to do some control action so that you are going according to plan. So you do that when you are confident that your plan is correct. But there are some situations, rather than you take control action to comply with the plan, you need to change the plan because your plan is not realistic. So those are very, very, very important. In life also the same. Sometimes you take control action so that you go according to your plan. Sometimes you change your plan because you find that no, that is not realistic. My plan is wrong. My plan has some issues. Right. So let's take one by one. Develop the plan. This is for organizational planning, right? This is the highest level. So you need to define your mission and set the goals for your organization. Define mission, set your goals. So remember, every organization has a mission. Sometimes we call it mission and vision. So vision is little bit low level. Mission is the high level thing. So if someone asks what is the mission of organization, the simple answer is that is the organization's reason for existence. Organization या පවතින්නේ මේ mission එක achieve කරන්න. Okay. So your mission describes in general your organization's values, aspirations, reasons for being. ඇයි මේ organization එක පවතින්නේ? අපේ තියෙන values මොනවාද? අපේ අභිලාෂයන් මොනවාද? ඔන්න ඕක තමයි mission statement එක කියන්නේ. So every organization has a mission. Of course, if you don't have a mission, that is very bad organization. And your mission statements give some indications of the strategies. You can get some hints. For example, if you look at the mission statement of Apple computers, you can get a hint about what are their business strategies. If you look at the mission statement of Google, you can get a hint about what are their business strategies. Right? And the mission statement is the basis for all your subsequent plan, because based on mission, we create strategic plan. Based on strategic plan, we create tactical plans. Based on tactical plans and strategic plans, we create our operational plans. So therefore, this is the starting point. So starting point is mission. So that is why I told you that if organization doesn't have mission, that is a very bad thing. So that means you don't have root. Right? You don't have reason for exist. So therefore, if you're planning to start a business, make sure your business has a mission. So a lot of businesses in Sri Lanka, they don't have a mission. Or their only mission is make money. That is a very poor mission. Right? That is a very, very poor mission. Just to make money. Of course, you need to make money, but that should not be your mission. So you need make money to achieve your mission. Right. So these are some examples, not examples. These are some missions. Okay. Say Google's mission, or now we call it Alphabet. To organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. Can you see that Google try to achieve this as much as possible? Organizing the world's information. That is what Google search is doing. Right? Organizing the information, indexing it. That is what YouTube is doing. Right? So that is what Google Map is doing. But now Google has diversified. So therefore now this mission is not 100% applicable to all there, because they are so big now. So big. Because they are into the OS operating systems and so on. But in general, yes. So this is Apple. Bringing the best user experience to customers through innovation, hardware, software, and services. So that is why they try to give the best user experience, best quality through innovation. So they always come up with innovative things, right? So Apple is the company that came up with the idea of smartphones. So Apple developed their UI-based interface operating system before Microsoft Windows. Microsoft Windows came later. Before Windows, Apple UI-based operating system. So they try to do it before others because they are very innovative. And even today they try to do this. So that is why Apple has a sort of a personality. So all their employees working towards that. Google has a personality. So if your employee try to achieve that, right? So that is mission. So what is the next one? Set goals. Now we are into the developing plans. Okay, set goals. So based on your mission, you set goals. You set strategic goals. You set tactical goals. You set operational goals. Those are the three levels, right? Strategic goals, tactical goals. That is finance manager, marketing manager, HR manager, tactical goals. Operational goals by the operational managers, line managers, center managers, branch managers, for their individual units or individual factories and so on, branches and so on. So define the mission, set goals. So set goals in all three levels. Right. Then you need to translate the plan. Now we have the define your plans, translate the plan into tactical plans, strategy maps, contingency plans, and so on. So remember, the next level is tactical. So mission based on mission statement. Now the strategic plan has been created. Strategic plan is a long-term plan for your organization for the last 10 years, last 10 to 20 years. Now, based on that strategic plan, now you want to create your tactical plans. Tactical plans are made by HR manager, finance manager, IT manager, tactical plans for their respective units. Okay. HR planning, marketing planning, budgeting, and even contingency planning, those are also tactical plans. You can create the strategy map also. Okay. So it shows what are your key drivers, okay, for your long-term success. Learning and growth, internal processes, customer services, financial performance. You can create your contingency plans. Contingency plan means in case of a contingency. Contingency means something you did not anticipate. You haven't anticipated. So these are possibilities. Possible contingent situations. Economic downturns in the country, declining markets, increasing cost of supplies, new technology development, safety or accidents, even natural disasters are contingencies. Contingencies are usually negative things. Usually they don't happen, but they can happen. For example, if the country's economy going down, that you have no control. All of a sudden you find that the market decline, maybe not because of your issue. In the market, there's a lesser demand due to some other substitute and so. It's a contingency. All of a sudden the cost of the supply goes up. Maybe raw material cost going up, skyrocketing. It's a contingency. So then there is tactical level and contingency level things. Okay. So then you plan your operations. That is a low level planning. Define your operation plans, select measures and targets, because this is for the low level managers, first line managers. And also you need to decide how do you measure your progress, because progress is measured at this level. Then you need to execute the plan. Okay. Define operational plans, select measures and targets. Okay. So after planning, plan operations, our next task is what? Execute the plan. Now you execute. Now under execute plan, this is one of the examiner's favorite subtopic, MBOs. Anyway, it's not only examiner's favorite, it's a very important concept also, MBOs. How do you execute the plan by MBOs? Simple as that. So this is super, super important, okay, for your exams, and also it's a very important concept. And also we will look at the difference between single-use plan and standing plan and execute, right? Let's first look at what is meant by MBO, management by objectives. So this is a very important modern concept. So management by objectives, management by objectives. So in MBO, first we define the goals for every department, every project, and even every person. How we can targets them. So we give them the targets according to our strategy, tactical things, and so on. So you need to achieve this as organization, as a department, as a project, or as an individual. So then we monitor the subsequent performance, actual performance. So we can compare it against our set target and what you have achieved as an individual, as organization, unit, or as organization. That is called management by objectives. Because this is very realistic. Otherwise, we forget about the results. What we need is result oriented. At the end, if you can achieve results, you are success, right? We measure your success by your output, not by your effort, not by your effort. This is very important, right? For example, now as a kid, I'm sort of a privileged person, right? I'm a privileged person. So one of the privilege I had in my life is my mother or father had never ever told me study. විහිළුවටවත් කියලා නැහැ. පාඩම් කරන්න, ස්ටඩි කරන්න කියලා එක නිකන් ආසාවටවත් මට කියලා නැහැ. ලොකුකම් කියනවා නෙමෙයි. හරි? නිකන් විහිළුවටවත් කියන්නේ. ස්ටඩි කරන්න කියන්නේ. පාඩම් මගේ කනට ඇහෙනවා ඔය අහල පහල කට්ටිය අරගොල්ලෝ න්‍යාය වරෝමේ කියන හැමතිස්සම මෙයා පාඩම් කරන්නේ නැහැ, වැඩ කරන්නේ නැහැ. අපි කොහෙට හරි ගියම ඔන්න ඔක තමයි දිගාරේ. කොල්ලව පෙන්නලා කියන මෙයා වැඩක් කරන්නේ නැහැ, පාඩම් කරන්නේ නැහැ. අනිත් අයටත් කියනවා. සෝ කොහොමද එහෙම මේ කාගෙන්වත් කතන්දරයක් අහගන්න නැතුව ඉන්නේ? දෙමව්පියන්ගෙන්. ඔයා ගිහිල්ලා එහෙම කිව්වත් ගණන් ගන්නෙත් නැහැ. ඒතකොට එක දවසක් කිව්වම ගණන් ගන්න නැත්නම් ආයි කියන්නෙත් නැහැ. ඔයා ගිහලා රිසල්ට් පෙන්නන්න. මෙන්න මගේ රිසල්ට්. මෙන්න මගේ ලකුණු. මෙන්න මගේ එක්සෑම් එකේ රිසල්ට්. ඒතකොට ආයි කවුරුත් ඇවිල්ලා කතා කරනවත් පාඩම් කරන්නේ නැහැ කියලා. පාඩම් කරත් එකයි නැදත් එකයි ඔන්න රිසල්ට් තියෙනවා. අන්තිමට වැදගත් වෙන්නේ කොච්චර පැය ගණන් පාඩම් කරාද, ස්ටඩි කරාද කියන එක නෙමෙයි මොකද්ද? ඔයාගේ රිසල්ට් එක වද ඔබ්ජෙක්ටිව් අචීව් කරා. Simple as that. ඔයා ඔබ්ජෙක්ටිව් අචීව් කරනවා නම් කාටවත් අමාරුවක් නැහැ නේ. අර කරන්න මේක කරන්න කියන්නේ. That is how you manage. So we don't look at how much effort you are putting. Right? What we look at is have you achieved your objectives comparative to others. If you have achieved your objectives, that is fine. Whether you work hard or not, whether you work extra hours or not, we don't care. Because some people work really hard, extra effort, but they don't achieve the objective. Some others, without any of those, they still achieve objectives. So what we care is your results, not your effort. That is what MBO is. Management by objectives. ඒ සමහර බොරුවට බිසි වගේ පෙන්නන්නේ. ඒ අර MBO විදියට මැනේජ් කරන්න නැති තැන්වල. හරි MBO විදියට මැනේජ් කරන්න නැති තැන්වල ඒගොල්ලෝ හැමතිස්සෙම බිසි කියලා පෙන්නනවා. හරි MBO විදියට මැනේජ් කරන තැන්වල එහෙම බිසි කියලා පෙන්නන්නේ නැහැ. බිසි කියන එක ඇත්තටම නෙගටිව්. නෙගටිව්. So what we are looking at is whether you achieve your objectives, because you can achieve your objectives in smart way if you properly manage it. So this is how the MBO is process is done. We set goals. We set goals. We set goals for the organization, organizational units, and even for individuals. Right. So when you set goals, make sure your goals are according to the SMART criteria. This is another very famous question in exams. MBO කියන්නේ famous එයාගේ SMART criteria නිතර අහනවා. So your goals must be according to the SMART criteria. What is meant by SMART criteria? Your goals must be specific. It can't be too general. Very specific goals so that we can monitor, we can measure, we can double check whether you have achieved it. And it must be measurable. Measurable. Sales 110ක් එකතු කරන්න ඕනේ වැඩි කරන්න ඕනේ. Measurable. මෙච්චර income එකක් ඔයා ටාගට් එකක් දෙනවා. ඒක එහෙම තමයි කරන්නේ. දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේ පාර විභාගේ හොඳට පාස් වෙනවා කියලා ටාගට් තියලා වැඩක් නැහැ. ඒවම විකාර වැඩ ගොන් වැඩ. හරි මම මේ පාර හොඳට කරනවා. මෙහෙම බෑ. මම මේ පාර ඔයා තීරණය කරනවා. ඔයාගේ තියෙන කැපැසිටි කරනවා. හරි ගිය පාර සබ්ජෙක්ට් පහක් විතර සබ්ජෙක්ට් තුනක් විතර රිපීට් කරා මේ පාරේ ඒ පහක් ගන්න බෑනේ දේශයෙන් නේද? හැබැයි ඔයා හරියට කියන්න ඕන. මම මේ පාර අඩුම මම ගන්න B. B වලට වඩා අඩු වෙන්න බෑ. ඒක ස්පෙસિෆික්. ඒක මෙෂරබල්. නැත්නම් මම සබ්ජෙක්ට් පහෙන් මේ තුනට අනිවාර්යෙන් ඒ ගන්නවා. අනිත් දෙක මගේ ප්‍රධාන මම එච්චර දක්ෂ සබ්ජෙක්ට් නෙමෙයි. මම ආස සබ්ජෙක්ට් නෙමෙයි. ඒ දෙකට සමහරට මම C එකට වඩා උඩින් හිටියම ඇති. හැබැයි මට මේ සබ්ජෙක්ට් එකට මට අනිවාර්යයෙන් එකක් ඕන. So that is specific, measurable and make it achievable. ඒකයි මම කිව්වා බලාගෙන නේද? ගිය පාර සබ්ජෙක්ට් හතරක් විතර රිපීට් කරලා මේ පාරේ ඒ පහක් ගන්න හිතන්න එපා. Unrealistic. Right? Be realistic. Achievable. Set high standard but don't set unrealistic standards. And make it relevant. So that goal is relevant to the organization's success. Otherwise, the employees achieve their objectives, but the organization has no benefit. And time bound. So don't give them indefinite time to achieve that. කවදා හරි achieve කරන්න කියලා set goal කරන්නේ නැහැ. This quarter, this semester, this year, you must achieve it. So then we will set another round of MBO. සාමාන්‍යව අවුරුද්දකට රවුමක් යනවා. ඊළඟ අවුරුද්දට ආයෙ වෙන MBO එකක් තියෙනවා. වෙනම MBO set කරනවා. So make sure the goals are set up according to the SMART criteria. මේක කටපාඩම් නේ ඔළුවේ තියෙන්න ඕන. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound. SMART. So then now you have set your goals. Goal set කළා හරියන්නේ නැහැ. goal එක achieve කරන විදිහට plan එකක් හදන්න ඕනේ. That is called action plan. So how are you going to achieve that as an individual? How are we going to achieve that as an organizational unit? How are we going to achieve that as an organization? So that is your action plan. Right? So this is how you are going to do it. This is how we are going to achieve these objectives. නැත්තම් goal set කළා උඩ බලන් ඉන්නවා. And review your progress, whether you are going according to the plan. Do we need to do some changes to the plan, or do we need to do some changes to the way we do it? So because we are not going according to the plan. And at the end, do appraisal by the higher level manager. As an individual, have you achieved your MBOs? Your manager can do it. As an organizational unit, have you achieved your organizational objectives? That maybe your CEO, managing director can do. හරි තමන්ට උඩ එක්කෙනාට පුළුවන් යට එක්කෙනා නැත්නම් යට කෙනාව යට organizational unit එක review කරන්න. Because otherwise no one review it. ඔහේ ගෝල් සෙට් කරන අන්තිමට ඒකට වෙච්ච දෙයක් නෑ. කවුරුත් ඊට පස්සේ බල්ලත් නෑ. ඊට පස්සේ අවුරුද්දේ ආයෙ ගෝල් සෙට් කරනවා. තනි බොරුවෙන් යන්නේ ඊට පස්සේ. මේ හැමදේම කරන්නේ වැඩක් වෙන්න. Set goals, develop an action plan to achieve the goals, review your progress, and appraisal of your overall performance at the end of that time period. time bound කරන්න තියෙන්නේ time bound එක time කාලය ඉවර වෙනකොට appraisal එක කරන්න. ඒ කාලය අතරතුර review කරන්න. So this is very practical oriented approach. Practical oriented approach. So this is a little bit more detailed way of doing MBO process. මෙහෙම තමයි private sector එක වැඩ කරන්නේ. හරි. මෙහෙම තමයි වැඩ කරන්නේ. මේ cycle එක හැම අවුරුද්දෙම යනවා. Because I work in the software engineering field for about 8 years. හැම අවුරුද්දෙම මගේ MBO එකේ මට results දෙනවා manager. ඊට පස්සේ manager එක තියෙනවා discussion එකක්. එතෙන්දී අපිට පුළුවන් manager දුන්න ratings වලට විරුද්ධව ඕන කතා කරන්න. නෑ මම ඒකට agree වෙන්නේ නෑ. ඒකට මැනේජර්ට අයිතියක් තියෙනවා ඒකට මං කියන එකට ඇග්‍රී වෙන්න පුළුවන් නැත්නම් එයා කියනවා නෑ නෑ. ඔයා කියන එක වැරදි. It's a very open discussion. අපි හැම අවුරුද්දේ මැනේජර්ත් එක්ක ඩිස්කෂන් එකට යනවා. මේ නිකන් පොත් වලින් කියලා ඔයගලන්ට එක්ස්ප්ලেইন කරන්න නෑ හරි මේක තමයි ප්‍රයිවට් සෙට් එක වැඩ කරන විදිය. ඊට පස්සේ HR ඩිපාර්ට්මන්ට් එකෙන් ඊමේල් එකක් එවන ඔයා මොන ප්ලේ කෙනෙක්ද කියලා. හැමෝටම ඒ ඊමේල් එක යනවා. ඒත් හැමෝම දන්නවා ඊමේල් එක ආවම තමන් A+ ප්ලේ කෙනෙක්ද A ප්ලේ කෙනෙක්ද B ප්ලේ කෙනෙක්ද C ප්ලේ කෙනෙක්ද කියලා. ඒ තමන්ගේ මැනේජර් සහ ඒ උඩ මැනේජ්මන්ට් එක ඔයාව රේට් කරලා දැන්. ඔයාගේ MBOs ඉවැලුවේට් කරලා ඇප්‍රේසර් කරලා. ඊට පස්සේ යනවා ඒකෙම එනවා A+ ප්ලේ කෙනෙක් ඔයාට මේ පාර අපි 20% ඉන්ක්‍රිමන්ට් එකක් දෙන්න. නැත්නම් 30% ඉන්ක්‍රිමන්ට් එකක් දෙන්න. ඔයා A ප්ලේ කෙනෙක් ඔයාට හම්බ වෙන්නේ 20%. ඔයා B ප්ලේ කෙනෙක් ඔයාට හම්බ වෙන්නේ 10%. ඔයා C ප්ලේ කෙනෙක් ඔයාට ඉන්ක්‍රිමන්ට් නැහැ. ඒකත් එනවා. මොකද ඇප්‍රේසල් කරලා ඉවර නැත්නම් MBOs අචීව් කරාම අපිට මොනවාරි කියන්නේ බෑ. සමහර ඕගනයිසේෂන් වල මේක මාස 6න් 6ටත් කරලා තියෙනවා. හරි මොකද ඒගොල්ලන්ට අවුරුද්දක් වැඩි. කම්පැනි එක හයියෙන් ග්‍රෝ වෙනකොට මම හිතපු එක ඕගනයිසේෂන් එක මාස 6න් 6ට ඇප්‍රේසල් කරනවා. මාස 6න් 6ට ප්‍රොමෝෂන්ස් දෙනවා. ප්‍රොමෝෂන් මොකද අවුරුද්දක් බලන් ඉන්න බෑ. කම්පැනි එච්චර හයියෙන් ග්‍රෝ වෙනවා. සමහර කම්පැනිස්. කම්පැනි තාම ලංකාවේ තියෙනවා. Right. Set goals, develop action plan, review progress, appraisal of the overall performance. Then you start your next cycle. Again, set goals for the next cycle. Okay. Right. So now we are into the some small concepts. When it comes, remember our topic is planning. So there are two type of plans. What are those? Single-use plans and standing plans. Standing plan means ongoing plan. For example, HR plan, finance, marketing. That every year you need to do that, right? Every year you need to hire people. Every year you need to do marketing. Every year you need to do your accounting. So those are standing plans. Standing plans. Financial plans, HR plans, marketing plans. But single-use plans are for a specific task, like a project plan. So that project plan is for that project. Or but you want to do a particular task, like you want to shift your factory from X place to Y. Once your factory is, now you need to have a plan to do that. But once your factory is moved to that point, you are done. So that plan is, you don't need that plan anymore. Those are single-use plans. Single-use plans. Right. So remember, you need to monitor and learn when it comes to planning. Right. So monitor, review your plans, operational reviews, right? And you need to learn. Sometimes you learn that you need to do some change alter your way of doing. Sometimes you learn that you need to change your plan. Okay? Because planning process is also evolving process. We want to do better planning next time. Right. So let's do the past papers. Right. This is 2024 question 3. Right. Quickly do it. Select set of examples for operational plans or goals of an organization. Remember, we have operational plans, strategic plan, tactical plans, operational plans. So, which of these are the examples of operational plans? Remember, strategic plans, tactical plans, operational plans. Operational plans are done by operational or the first line managers, low level managers. I mean, low level plan may not make. Anyone can you give me the answer? Day to day plan එකක් වෙන්න ඕනේ මේක. Operational level එකේ. If multiple answers are possible, contingency plans, annual budgeting, those are not operational, right? So those are more for me, that is more strategic and tactical. Order purchasing, inventory management, uh, is it planning? Plan, they have a low level, but is it planning? Order purchasing can plan එකක්. Inventory management can plan එකක්. That is a bit of a question for me. But anyway, it's very low level. Business expansions are, that is strategic, right? Business collaboration, business expansion, name a strategic manager, top level manager. Those are not operational plans, right? Contingency plans, human resource plans, but that is also not operational, right? Those are also very tactical level. Tactic. Procurements and logistics are even low level. මෙතන low level දෙකක් තියෙනවා ඒ planning කියලා නම් නැහැ. මම හිතන්නේ මේ procurement and logistic planning වෙන්න ඕන. හරි. එහෙම වුණොත් මෙයා උත්තරයක්. මේකත් order processing and inventory management planning නම් උත්තරයක්. planning කියන වචනේ නම් නැහැ. හරි. I will assume that what the examiner mean is planning. If so, be and need. If so, be and need. But wording is little bit poor. Okay. Yes, B and need. So this should be then order processing and inventory management planning. මොකද ওই දෙක තමයි low level ඒවා තියෙන්නේ. ඒකයි මම දෙක ගත්තේ. Okay. Right, next one. දැන් මේක කතා කරමු. Organizational plans are executed, implemented by using execute කරන කොහොමද organization එකක් modern organization එකක් හරි. තමන්ගේ plan implement කරන කොහොමද? MBO, standing plans and single use plans, organizational structure, values and strategies, structure, culture and mission, vision, mission and strategies, vision, policies and rules. අපි දැන් අන්තිමට කතා කරේ මේක තමයි නේද? කොහොමද organization එක තමන්ගේ plan එක execute කරන්නේ? එක එක levels වල plan. What is the answer? Yes, A. නේද? අපි දැන් කතා කරේ ඒක නේද? Management by objectives. So then you can have standing plans and single use plans. මේක නම් අර slide එකේ දිවිච්චාන්ත හරි. නැත්නම් මේ standing plan කියන්නේ execute කරනවා කියන එක නෙමෙයි. නමුත් ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ note එකේ අරන් තිබුණේ මේ තුන හන්ද ඉතින් මාත් ගන්නවා. But this is the main answer. Management by objectives. එතන මේක execute කරනවා කියලා අරන් තිබුණේ ඒ slide එකේ දිවිච්ච හන්දයි මාත් ගත්තා. නැත්නම් ඇත්තටම ඔක execute කිරිලා නෙමෙයි. ඔක plan වර්ග දෙකක්. ඔකයි note එකත් එක්ක ගැලපෙන්නේ නැත්නම් මේක තමයි. හරි. Yes, examiner has taken it. Right. B. On. What are the characteristic of strategic goals of an organization? Strategic goals can always in on top level managers like goals. Strategic goals. Remember the mission statement on up. Then below mission statement, we have strategic goals. So then you have the tactical goals and so on, right? Strategic goals in mission yati. Can it long term, external oriented, right? High level. Then another specific characteristic අහන්නේ strategic goals වල තියෙන ලක්ෂණ. Specific, tactical, long range, short range, holistic. Specific වෙන්න පුළුවන්ද මේ උඩ level ඒවා? උඩ level වල ඒවා specific වෙන්න බෑ. යට වෙනකොට specific වෙන්න. උඩ කියන්නේ අනිශ්චිතතාවයේ උඩරිම නේද? Long term, external oriented. ඔච්චර අනිශ්චිත දෙයක් කරද්දී කොහොමද specific වෙන්නේ? Top level එකේ managers වල ලොකු අනිශ්චිතතාවයක වැඩ කරන්නේ. Therefore, I will not go for specific. Specific වෙනවා short මේ first line managers ලා ගාවට යනකොට understand? Tactical, no, strategic goals are not tactical, right? Tactical is next level. Right? Strategic goals are not tactical. Tactical goals are tactical. Long range කියන එක නම් මම දන්නේ නැහැ. මම හිතා long range කියන්නේ long term වෙන්න ඕනේ. හරි? Yes, strategic goals are long term. මම හිතන්නේ මේ long range කියලා අන්තිම long term වෙන්න. I'll go for that, but I am not very sure, okay? Not short range. Holistic, yes. නේද? Strategic manager කෙනෙක් කියන්නේ holistic නේ. එයාට තමයි මුළු organization එක බලන්න තියෙන්නේ. Tactical manager ඉතින් තමන්ගේ organization unit එක බලන්න. First line manager ඉතින් තමන්ගේ unit එක බලාගන්න. තමන්ගේ branch එක, තමන්ගේ factory බලන්න. Yes, it is holistic. Strategic goals are holistic. Strategic goals හදන්නේ big picture එක. මම හිතනවා මේ short range, long range දෙකම තියෙනවා මේක long range ගණන් කියලා. Right? Not specific. Specific period strategic plan හදන්න බෑ. Strategic goal හදන්න බෑ. ඒක උත්තරය අරන් තියෙනවා. නෑ උත්තර දෙකම තියෙනවා. Long range holistic. Okay, long range holistic. C and E. So we discussed that, okay? Right, next one. Select set of examples for a tactical plan. ඔන්න දැන් අහන්නේ දෙවෙනි level එකේ plan ගැන. Tactical plans. Examples අහන්නේ. හරි tactical plan හදන්නේ HR manager HR plan එක, finance manager finance plan, marketing manager marketing plan, engineering managers engineering plans. So these are not strategic plans or the very top level plans. At the same time, these are not very low level operational plans. Usually these are specific to a particular unit. Anyone? What is your answer? Annual budgets, human resource planning. Human resource planning is for HR. Annual budget is for finance, right? The budget එක හදන්නේ finance department එක. HR department එක HR plan. Tactical කියන්නේ A unit වලින් හදන plans. I'll say yes. Business expansion strategic කලයන්සේ වචන විදිහට strategic කියන්නේ නේද? Business expansion කියන්නේ strategic වැඩක්. That is not tactical. Order purchasing inventory management කියන්නේ operation. Contingency plans and annual budgets. In a way, yes, right? Annual budgets තියෙනවා. Contingency plan හදන්නේ නැහැ strategic manager. Contingency plan හදන්නේ tactical managers. Next level කට්ටිය. I'll go for that. මම දන්නේ ගණිත නැද්ද කියලා මට නම් මේක විශේෂ annual budget නම් හරි. Procurement and logistics is operational things. Anyone got A and D? Yes, A and D. Right, A and D. Right, what about this? Organizational plans are evaluated by using. Organization plans evaluate කරන්න කොහොමද කියලා. මේ KPIs කියන්නේ key performance indicators. අපේ note එකේ තිබුණාද? මතකද මම කිව්වා key performance indicators. Right? Monitor and learn. Planning, planning reviews, operational reviews, key performance indicators. And you can measurable values. Right? Performance බලන්න පුළුවන් දේවල්. Profit එක වෙන්න පුළුවන්, defect ප්‍රමාණය වෙන්න පුළුවන්, හරි. Customer satisfaction එක වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right? What is the answer? Organizational plans are evaluated by UC. කොහොමද ආන evaluate කරන්නේ? මේක obvious වැරදිවක් තියෙනවානේ structure, culture and vision මේවට අදාළ නැහැ. Vision mission වලින් evaluate කරන්න බෑනේ. KPI හරි. but මේවා ඇවිල්ලා මේ plans මේවායින් evaluate කරන්න බෑනේ. මේකත් evaluate කරන්න බෑ මේවා මේ plan වර්ග. කොහොමද evaluate කරන්නේ? Key performance indicators නේද? Targets achieve කරාද? Performance measures වලින් තමයි evaluate කරන්නේ. Performance measures, whether you what percentage of targets are achieved, and key performance indicators. A. Right. A of the question ගොඩක් තිබලා තියෙනවා. 2023 question 5. What are the key characteristics of operational goals of an organization? ඔය අහන්නේ smart criteria ගැන. Characteristic of operational goals කියන්නේ මොනවාද? Smart criteria. කෙලින්ම අහන්නේ නැහැ smart කියලා. නමුත් ඒක තමයි බලන්න. අන්න SMART වල වචන පහ තියෙනවාද කියලා. ඒවට අයිති නැතිව තියෙනවා නම් multiple answers are possible, right? Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time bound. නේ? Relevant, yes. Time bound, yes. Specific, yes. Vague වෙන්න බෑනේ. Vague කියන්නේ specific නෑ කියන එක. Production oriented කියලා ගන්න නැහැ smart criteria වල. ABC. බලන්න smart criteria කියන වචනේ නොකිය තමයි ප්‍රශ්නේ අහලා තියෙන්නේ. smart එක තමයි අහලා තියෙන්නේ අපිට. Right. 2022 question 3. දැන් past papers කරන්නේ නැහැ හරි. subject එක වෙනකොට past papers ඉවරයි. subject එක දෙනීම ඉවරයි. මේ subject එක සමහර subject වල past papers කරන්න වෙන්නේ අන්තිමට. මොකද ඒවා ඔක්කොම කරන්න අමාරුයි. Select the sets of examples for strategic plans or goals of an organization. දැන් ඔන්න අහනවා strategic plan වලට උදාහරණ. ටකල් කරා. එක දෙකපාරක් ආදිනවා tactical plans මොනවාද කියලා උදාහරණ. තව පාරක් ආදිනවා operational plans වලට උදාහරණ. මේවා ඒ අවුරුද්ද හදනවා strategic plan වලට උදාහරණ. මේ එකම වට්ටෝරුවෙන් ප්‍රශ්න අහලා තියෙනවා. Anyone? What is your answer? Multiple answers are possible. Business expansion, yes, that is a strategic thing. Developing new product, yes. අලුත් product එකක් introduce කරනවා කියන්නේ strategic දෙයක් නේද organization එක. Yes, that is a strategic plan. Entering new market, yes, strategic. Merge and acquisition, yes. තව organization එකක merge වෙනවා කියන්නේ long term strategic thing. New procurement and inventory control, no, those are operational things. Budget, human resource planning, those are tactical. Contingency plans and labor relations are not strategic, right? Those are more tactical. I'll go for A because we are looking for strategic. Right, last one. Organizational plans are executed by using. ඒක නම් අපේ කනුත් ආවනේ the question එකම. What is the answer? We don't execute by vision mission, right? So plans are made using vision mission. Execute කරනවා නෙමෙයි plan හදන්නේ මේවා උඩ. Organization plans are executed using contingency plan budget goals, no. Yes, executed කියන්නේ evaluate නෙමෙයි නේද? මෙතන මම හිතන්නේ execute කියන්නේ evaluate කියන එක. මොකද මේක වෙන්නත් බෑනේ structure culture goal වෙන්න බෑ. mission වෙන්නත් බෑ. එහෙනම් ඉතින් මේක තමයි වෙන්න ඕනේ. මම හිතන්නේ executed කියන්නේ evaluate කරනවා කියන එක. right MBO MBO නම් හරි හැබැයි එක්සිකියුට් කරන්නේ ඔය හැබැයි එක්සිකියුට් වලට තමයි මේ දෙක දාලා දෙනවා ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ නෝට් එක මතකනේ ස්ටෑන්ඩින් ප්ලෑන් සිංගල් යූස් ප්ලෑන් කියලා තමයි දාලා දෙන්නේ එක්සිකියුටින් කියන නෝට් ස්ලයිඩ් එකේ ඒක හන්ද ඒක ගන්න ඒක ටිකක් ඕඩ් හැබැයි ඉතින් නමුත් ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ ස්ලයිඩ් එකේ ඔය තුන එකට තියන්න I'll go for C C තවත් තියෙනවා which of the following can be responded through the contingency plan it's a very easy question මේ වගේ මොන වගේ එකකට දාන contingency plan එකක් හදන්න පුළුවන් contingency කියන්නේ හදිසි නෙගටිව් අවස්ථාවක් හරි හදිසි කලින් plan කරන්න බැරි නමුත් වෙන්න ඉඩ තියෙන ඍණාත්මක දෙයක් it can be a outside thing or internal or business thing increase of cost of supplies yes that is a contingency නේද ඒක දැන් උදාහරණයක් පාට තෙල් ගණන් ගියොත් එහෙනම් contingency එකක් නේද cost of supply તો රටින් ගේනවද නැත්නම් මොකද කරන්නේ දැන් අපේ production වල ගණන් වැඩි වෙනවා දැන් it's continuous economic downturn yes continuous interdepartmental communication that is not a contingency sub-optimization of divisions no that is not contingency sub-optimization of divisions energy crisis yes energy crisis කියන්නේ එකපාරට රටේ තෙල් නැහැ කරන්ට් නැහැ I'll go for AB මට හරියටම තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ මේ D එකේ නම් මොකක්ද තියෙන්නේ කියලා හරි yes AB is the answer D එකේ තොඩ අදාළ නැහැ right අද අපි ටොපික් තුනක් කරන්න හිටියා නමුත් කරන්න හම්බුනේ දෙකයි හරි ඒ වුණේ අර ඔයගලන්ට ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එක ආරම්භ කරන පොඩ්ඩක් කතා කරන්න ඊළඟ දවසේ ඒකත් එක්ක කව කරනවා හරි right so now we have done two topic out of 10 topics of your 10 topic මේ entrepreneurship එක මේකේ තියෙන 5යි 5යි now we have done two topics okay